I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Hello, everybody. This is Jamerica with Jamerica Life. And we'll get this thing started in a few minutes or a minute or two. These are Pakistan mulberries, tissue culture. And I just got them in the mail. So we're going to plant them up. We're going to plant them up in something really small like this. So I'll be right back and I'll be right back with you. Hold on tight. Just be a second. You need to get it together, girl. Get it together. Tissue culture. Tissue culture. An inexpensive way to start trees. I couldn't find any Pakistan mulberries anywhere. And Pakistan mulberries are not like normal mulberries. They're huge, which is why I wanted them. Nobody sells them around here. So I went online and I ordered some and I found some for tissue culture because the other ones were too expensive. And you know, I ain't rich, right? So it's got this tape on it and I'm gonna pull these off. We're gonna plant these up in these little bitty pots because that's what you do. You don't plant them in big pots. You wanna give them room for the roots to slowly expand. You don't wanna put it in a bathtub or or a big old tub. You don't wanna do this because it's not like it's growing out in the wild. And I'm gonna slowly get these things apart. Got everything going on today. Yes, I do. There's 2 of them in here. I think this ran me just under $30 for 2. And I have to slowly wiggle them apart. I don't want to lose any leaves. And I'll show you what they look like. And they're planted in plugs. Don't ask me how they do it, because I don't know. But they're planted and rooted in these little itty bitty plugs. The plugs, let's see, are about 2 inches. Sorry, I didn't mean to use that finger. 2 inches, 2 digits. And then I'd say the plant is a little bit bigger than my hand. So the plant, I think, is about 5-6 inches and the plug is about 2 inches. So you're gonna get about an 8-inch plant. It's not much, but these things grow quick. So I have my soil over here. I have my pots over here. And I got my computer getting wet over here because I need to pull it up so I can see the chat. If there's any battery left in this thing. There it is. My Chromebook. My little bitty Chromebook so I can see the chat. So I got this from Darren's Food Forest. And it does, I'm not promoting any business. They're selling on Amazon. And these plants came in looking good. I went to my mailbox. They sent them regular mail. And look at that. Very, very nice. I have read some reviews where I guess people don't understand that tissue culture trees are super small. And they order them, you know, for less than $30, and then they go online and they dog out these companies because they say they're too small. But they're supposed to be small. They're tissue culture. As long as they come alive, and sometimes they don't look this good. This is really good. As long as they come alive, as long as they come in alive. Did I put the wrong thing in? No, I did. That's good to go. And these are definitely alive. So I give them a 5 out of 5 because this is one of the better ones. Money well spent. And Pakistan mulberries, I don't have them. I have mulberries in the yard, but they're those regular ones. And our mulberries here in the great US of A are not big from what I've seen. And I can't see. Broke Farmer, how you doing? From what I've seen, Pakistan mulberries are double the size of a normal mulberry. And I wanted them. I wanted them bad. So I went searching and I went on Amazon and I found them. So where am I? I don't know. Okay, let me see. My eyes are blurry today. And now let's fly in my house. Here I am. So first things first, most people soak these in water, but since these are already damp, I'm not going to do that. And look at them, right? So it's from Darren's Food Forest, and they sell on Amazon, and it says, do not make your plants, do this to make your plants thrive, right? And then it gives you, upon arrival, plant needs to be kept in a shady place and moist for at least a few days. When you are ready to be, when they are ready to be put in the, then they are ready to be put in the full sun. When you gently tug at the stalk and they're firmly established in the pot. So if once the roots spread, you can put them in the sun, but I don't do that. I wait till these jokers are more than a week. I put them under my grow light. They ain't getting no, the only light they're gonna get is gonna be the USB lights that are under there. And these little pots, I think these pots are about 4 inches. That's all you need. I have Pakistan mulberry. I think mine, yep. If they're the huge mulberries, that's them. They're hard to find. And they're expensive. So I was like, shoot, I'll be doggone if I spend all this money on this tree, a mulberry tree. I want it, and I know I could find it for less. And sure enough, I kept on looking, and there it was. These little small ones, less than $30. I think it was less than $30. If not, it was just above $30. I forget. It's been a little while because it takes a while for them to ship it to you. It's for me, a while is a week and a half. You know, I'm so spoiled with the order and stuff. And I went to the mailbox because Amazon tells me that I have a package, right? And I looked out my door and I was like, well, there's nothing at my door. So I had to walk down the street to the community mailbox, and it was in one of those lockers. Right there, waiting for me. I'll read the directions after this, but I've done so many of these. It's like second nature putting this stuff in there. So here we are. That's our first Pakistan mulberry done. I think Diva Jones said something about that on her video today, but I was like, I've talked about these before. I wanted these so bad. So when I went to the mailbox, I pick up, they sent me to this huge locker, right? I'm like, oh, it must be something big, right? I order a lot of stuff, especially for the garden. I order a lot of stuff online. And so I go there and I go to this huge locker, right? And this little itty box. The box was maybe a foot and a half, maybe. And then I picked it up and it didn't weigh nothing. I said, what the heck is this? Forgot all about these jokers. Forgot. But I'm happy you're here. Because if you didn't come, I'd have been raising holy water, asking these people where my stuff was. Because I track it. I go back in the app and I track everything that I order to make sure I got it. And I ain't spend my money on something that got delivered to somebody else's house. You got to. And that has happened. They have a picture. It's so funny. They have a picture of how they delivered it on somebody's porch. It ain't my porch. I'm like, whose house is that? Where did y'all take that to? That's not my house. And everything is, artificial intelligence now. You don't even talk to a regular poor person. You're like, no, that ain't my house. It's so hard to get a real person to talk to nowadays. Really hard. So just like that, we have our Pakistan mulberries planted. And look, you can see all that water on this little mat, They're already watered in. We're going to put this on the grow station and let it do its thing. I'm going to leave it there for a little while, a couple of weeks. Keep on watering it from the top. Some people will say, I only water from the bottom. In my opinion, hello, Ramona Johnson. How you doing? In my opinion, watering from the bottom is only good. And that's sometimes when you have an established plant that you know the roots are already at the bottom where it can get some water. Because if you put something that's freshly planted like this and try to water it from the bottom, it ain't gonna work. As a matter of fact, seeds. I don't know where that came from. So and I giggle to myself when I watch people planting seeds and say I only water from the bottom because it called you get fungus gnats and all. First of all, you're gonna get fungus gnats anyway if they're already in the soil. But watering a seed from the bottom is never a good thing. Got to water from the top. Ramona Johnson, I'm pretty good. How are you doing today? I am excellent because I got my Pakistan mulberries. So I have 1, 2, 3 mulberry trees, and this joker, oh my God, it's going in the ground, but they ain't going in the ground no time soon. Maybe by this fall, depending on how much it's grown. Now this is just the first time I'm transplanting this because it's gonna go from this to one of those bootstrap farmer 6-inch pots, or is it 5-inch pots? And then from there it'll go to a bigger one. And once it goes to when I transfer it the third time and it roots, then I'll put it in the ground. I don't put anything little into that clay soil because this clay soil will just if it dries out, it's just gonna take it out. Bro Farmer said facts. Yeah, don't start no seeds and water from the bottom. That's when I know I don't need to be listening to that person no more. It's like, what? You're taking seeds, you're planting seeds, and they plant it in wet soil, and they be like, no, I'm just gonna put a tray of water on the bottom. No, you don't do that. I'm just telling you from experience. I think I made that mistake, I don't know, when I was 10. You don't do that. You water it from the top. You water seeds from the top and stuff like this. Because this plug is not, this is a plug. You saw how it was, right? And the roots are in that little plug. Who's to say that if I put water on the bottom that it's going to seep up enough to get to that plug? I'm going to make sure that the plug that I just planted gets water. And the plug is right there in that little capsule. It's just like planting a miniature tree. When you plant your tree, that's why I disturb the roots when I put a tree in the ground, because you don't want it to be condensed like this. I ain't gonna mess with though. You don't want it to be condensed. You want the roots to spread out. Can't do that with a baby plant like this, or you won't have it. So you have to water it and make sure that the plug is getting water so that the roots can get strong, and eventually the roots are gonna spread out. With tissue culture, very rarely are they root bound. Very, very rarely. I had one come in and it had some kind of gardening fabric around, and I pulled that stuff off because that just is going to inhibit the roots. I pulled it all off, and the plants did fine. But that was the only company that did that. Let me look in the chat. Ramona Johnson, good to hear. That's so amazing. Broke family. Is that a seedling or cutting? It's a seedling. There's no graft line on these. Now maybe they did what I do, what I did with that fig. I don't know how tissue culture is made. All I know is they give you a little bitty stick and it's got roots on it. Now they might have done what I did with that fig and cut the fig off, put it in some water, and then rooted it. I don't know. But there's no graft line on these little things, so I know it's not a grafted plant. And I don't know. I don't know if it's from seed. Let's see if they say this on here. Okay, so it says upon arrival, plant is to be kept in a shaded place and moist for at least a few days, moistened at least a few days a week. When are they ready to be put in full sun? When you gently tug the stalk and they firmly establish in the pot, then they are ready for full sun. I would not put them in full sun because I had that happen with my one of my figs. I forget what kind. I left it out there. I upplanted it to the bigger pot, and I forgot about it and left it out there. Do you know I came outside and all the leaves were falling off? That Texas sun slapped it upside the head and was getting ready to take it out completely. He was going to give it the final blow. So I bring them back in the house and put them under the USB light. Now, when you're hardening stuff off, you don't just put the stuff straight out there. Just a second. Because this thing won't stop. That's the worst incubator I have in this house. You don't just put stuff out in the sun. You put it out there on a cloudy day like today, or at nighttime, you let it get a little bit of morning sun, you pull it back in the house and you do it, keep on doing it. And you'll know, because the plant will let you know, because the plant's leaves will start drooping. You drag that joker back in the house. You slowly introduce it to the sun. So, it says plant them in pots for a season, or at least until the roots fill out a little. So yes, I have some that I just upplanted in bigger pots, and they've been in those pots. I got those fig trees, I think maybe January, February. They ain't in the ground. They ain't going in the ground until I feel like they're big enough, and they're not big enough now. Shade lovers, okay, and it tells you ginger, turmeric, Cuban, or okay, full sun plants, blackberries, blueberries, strawberry trees, lemongrass, love full sun, bananas, love full sun and lots of water. Partial sun, moringa, neem, bananas, all love the sun and need shade too. Google for more info. I don't know why they gave me that. Info, reminder, caring for your plants and keeping them alive is your responsibility. Don't give up on the plant. Keep them watered regularly. If you are in Orlando, Florida area, let me know and come see my nursery. So apparently these plants are from Florida. I'm surprised they got here, because I know Texas doesn't accept much citrus from Florida because of some kind of pest they have. Okay, I'm gonna say Shikera. Sure, I can't say. Can you spell it, sound it out for me so I can say your name correctly? I'm glad you are saying this, because watering from the bottom never worked for me. It doesn't work for seedlings, like stuff that is babies, or seeds. Definitely not seeds. Don't do that. Always water from the top. And then when I see these guys or girls, depending, right? Because I don't watch it very often. When I see something like that, they're saying I water from the bottom, and they're putting seeds into a little tray. And then the next thing you know, voila, they got a million beautiful plants, but they never show you anything in between, like them breaking out of the soil. And I said, they don't show you that because nothing ever broke. They had to go to the nursery or to the big box store and buy seedlings. And there's nothing wrong with buying seedlings. But if you're buying seedlings, say you're buying seedlings, don't tell people to plant seeds in some dry soil and then show up with something like this saying it worked. That's deceiving. And then people waste money on seeds. Seeds are becoming more and more expensive. Matter of fact, I'm not going to say that, because I just went to the Dollar Tree and I stacked up again, because they had the remnants of what was left with the seeds. And I was like, I need some more pepper seeds. I need some more cucumber seeds. So I dug through their pile, because they had them in buckets now, because people rummaged through, and I guess they got tired of sorting them out. So I got another row of seeds. So I'm set. Hello, Erica Carter. How you doing? So it says policies. If these plants happen to arrive damaged, we need to replace the order only if modified the same day as delivery. That's not a problem, because they did a good job. And again, this was Darren's Food Forest on Amazon. Good job. They weren't the cheapest tissue culture. I just typed in Pakistan mulberry, and I looked for the cheapest one, and there they were. So I got them. And I looked at the reviews, and I realized that people don't know what they order, and they don't know what they're ordering, and then they give the tissue culture people bad reviews, because it's a tissue culture. It's gonna be small. Miss Shirley, how you doing? Erica Carter, I'm sowing seeds now here. Don't listen to them bottom waterers. That's only for established plants. Let's see. And then they say, must be a sole proprietorship, because it says, I'm only responsible for live delivery. And then it says, caring for the plants and keeping them alive is your responsibility. Much love and peace. And then they have their phone number and all that stuff. I recommend them. Darren's Food Forest. Mm-hmm. And you can tell that it's a small business. Look at the paper. That's not even cut with one of them cutting boards. It's cut with a scissors. See that? That looked like one of my cuts. My grandma told me that I couldn't sew. That's when I gave up after that. I was like, my grandmother was a seamstress. She told me, you can't cut straight. You can't do this. You need to, what did she say? You need to sew. you need to you need to make dolly clothes. I was so insulted. And that's because my cuts look like that. I never forget that. That and me sewing up my finger, that did it for me. I was done. So these are the Pakistan mulberries, right? And I just want to show you what tissue culture looks like, and that you can get even the plants that you can't find, especially figs. Oh my gosh, I got a million different figs. I got a million figs, and all of them was under $25. I say the most expensive figs, because you get 3 and 4 at a time. Both of these was about $30 for both of them. I don't even think it was $30. I can't go on it because I'm using my phone to do this live, but this was not a lot of money in comparison to some of the things that I have bought at the big box stores and from other nurseries. Now, tissue culture grows super fast. Eventually, because I water it from the top, right? You're gonna see I'm gonna look, eventually I'll look at the bottom. That's when I know it needs to be applied. And if I see any white roots on the bottom of this pot, that's when I up pot it. Because if you start seeing roots coming through those little holes or passing around those little holes, chances are, if you don't get the out of this pot, once the roots go down to the bottom and you can see them in the little holes, you're gonna get root bound plants. So you got to get them out. So every now and then, because there's gonna be water on the bottom of this tray, right? That's why I put them in the tray. And I don't want it to. Mike's here. How you doing, Mike's Chaotic Gardening? How you doing? Welcome. So I always check the bottom to make sure that I don't see any root structure on the bottom, and if I do, I'll pot it. That's just the way I do, because I have them on these little trees. More because I don't want to make a mess. But there's going to be water on the bottom of these trays. Not a lot of water, because you don't want to get sour soil. That'll dampen off your plants too. You don't want. That's another reason why I don't bottom water, because man, stuff will start dampening off on you, and that ticks me off. And it's happened to me even when I don't bottom water. Sometimes I water from the top and I don't check, because sometimes I have them in those little foot tubs, and I don't check to see if the level of the water in the pan is too high. Now this doesn't allow it to get too high, because this is a serving tray from Dollar Tree, right? This doesn't allow it to get too high. But if you put it in one of them deep dish pans that I use, like these, I use these for things. Watch your soil, watch your water level, because you can sour your soil. And if your soil starts smelling bad, and then you get fungus gnats, and then especially with tomatoes, and especially tomatoes, they'll dampen off on you, and then you have to start over. So bottom watering, I don't know about that, unless you're going to be super careful. And no, you can't do it with seeds. That's all I'm going to say. Don't do it with seeds, because they ain't going to work for you. So tissue culture is less expensive. Tissue culture also grows quickly. It gives you the opportunity to buy plants that you can't find anywhere. As I said, I have a million different figs now, and it's all due to tissue culture, and most of them are under a year old. And I'm putting on, by fall, I should be able to put them in the ground. Ramona Jack Jamerica, I love the snail roll you showed us some time ago. That is not my idea. I got that from the YouTube University. The snail roll, man, that thing is the best thing since sliced bread. I got snail roll out there. Look, I'm looking at one right now. Snail rolls are great. They're great because they take up less space. You ain't gonna buy no pots. You don't have to up pot them. You can plant directly from the snail roll. And that's what I did. I never up potted those things from the snail roll. I left them in there until I put them in the ground, and they are doing very well. That tomato patch that I had on the video that was just before this one, most of those came from a seed snail roll. Most of them. Miss Shirley, where do you get the tissue culture from? Amazon. And all you do is, I typed in tissue culture figs, or I just typed in Pakistan mulberries for this one and just looked for the cheapest one and found out that they had tissue culture. I knew what it was once I saw the little plant. If you see a picture of a little plant, first of all, don't make tissue culture. You don't buy one. They don't sell you just one plant. They sell you most of the time it's 3 or 4 of them. But this time, because this is a rare plant, I got 2. Most of the time, when I get those figs in, I get them either in the 3s or the 4s. Be careful also when you're ordering something from tissue culture. There might be one seller that's selling it for $25.98 or whatever, and you only get 2 plants. Keep on scrolling. You're going to see somebody with 3. Keep on scrolling. You're going to see somebody with 4. And then there's some where I saw a variety pack that I was going to get for my mother, but I have to ask her first, where they give you 4 different types of figs. So you get one of each. I think that's a good deal. And I think that one was about $31. That was the most expensive one. The regular one's $25, $30 for 3 and 4 of them. Initially, I heard it from Broke first, and I was like, what the heck is he talking about? Tissue culture. That's who I heard it from. He was the first one I ever heard anything. I see him with this little itty bitty plant in his hand. And I said, that thing's gonna die. So negative. I was not a believer. So me being the curious gardener that I am, I was like, well, if he bought it, maybe it will work, especially if it's a fig, because I know figs are very hardy. So I went to Amazon because that's where I shop. I don't like going all over the place. Plus, you ain't gonna find tissue culture nowhere else. I think Amazon's the only place I found it. So I ordered 1 set of figs. I ordered some blueberry. This is all tissue culture. Blueberry, kiwi, and figs. All of them survived until I went to vacation and didn't water. The only ones that didn't pass away while I was on vacation, because I was gone a while, was the figs. But then I was like, and I was a believer. I was like, oh man. And then I waited like 2-3 months because I still wasn't quite sure, right? My figs are still alive. You know, I upplanted them from this pot to the bigger pot. I don't go from this pot to a gigantic pot. I go from this to about a 4-inch pot. I don't have one around here. 6-inch pot, right? From this to a 6-inch pot. And they're out there now, and they are the ones, I just did a video on figs, and those are the same ones that, no, the ones that I did after him, after I saw his, they're way bigger. It's almost time for them to go on the ground. Almost. I was like, what? Nobody's talking about this, and everybody's afraid because they're little bitty plants, but they grow quick. All of them. I think the kiwi, I put that in the kiwi didn't die, by the way. I put the kiwi in a big old pot, and that joker, there's 2 of them that survives, because I think I got 4, and 2 of them didn't make it. 2 of them are in there, and they're growing vines right now. They weren't doing well for a while, but they came back. They're coming back right now, because we keep on getting rain. Don't spend a bunch of money, because I have, not only at nurseries, first of all, okay, let me back up. Tissue culture is the cheapest, right? In my opinion, and works. It works. It works as long as you know you're gonna get a little plant. And I guarantee you, in 3-4 months, this thing will be doubled, and I'll be up potting it, if not before. Next, cheapest or least expensive is the Costa to Co store or the Sam store. They have them for like $20-something, but you gotta catch them jokers because they go quick. They're going for like 20. They're going up, but they're still way less expensive than the big box stores. So after you go to those paid establishments, the ones you pay to go into, then you go to the big box store. Let me tell you why the big box store is usually less expensive than ordering online. Although they charge a lot at the stores, right? The only thing you have to pay on that is tax. You don't have to pay for shipping. You don't have to worry about that. So what the price plus the tax is the price. Now I buy online. I buy bare roots trees, and bare roots trees are not as established. If I have the choice between buying a bare roots tree and buying a tree that in the big box store that already has an established roots, I'm always gonna pick the one with the established roots. Always. And and thank you, Miss Shirley, for smash the like button. So I'm always gonna pick the one from the big box stores, especially when I find out that it's the same price or less. Because I'll be in the blue store or the orange and brown store, and I'll go online to a nursery and see and do and check it out and go through the nursery like I'm going to check out. And the price on the bare roots is not the price, because then you got to tag on shipping. And then I'll go through, right, and I'll put what I have at the big box store. Say I'm buying 3 or 4 trees. I'll say, okay, I want these 3 or 4 trees from this nursery, and then I'll do it like I'm getting ready to check out. And if that price is higher than what I add up at the big box store, or if it's the same, I'm gonna always get the one in the big box store, always. But however, y'all know that those stores are limited. You rarely do you see a variety there. Like lemons, all I see is Myers lemons. I don't see nothing else. So, tissue culture first, big box store, nursery. Now I go to, don't get me wrong, I go to nursery because they have more variety, and there's things at the nursery and in tissue culture that I can't find there. I can't find it, so that's where I have to go. I have to go and pay for it. Let me see. Bro, sorry, a call was going to me. If it's equal to or less than, I factor in the fact that the big box stores has a root system, and I can put that joker in the ground. Bare roots, I never, and other people might say that I'm being overcautious. I don't put them jokers in this clay soil because I ain't gonna have nothing but a stick. It's not gonna make it in this clay soil. I have to put it into, so that's an added cost, by the way. I have to put it in a container, which I don't factor in, but I also have to buy soil and make sure that my bare roots, I have to baby it basically. My bare roots tree is watered, and I have to buy soil on top of that to cover it up. But I do like bare roots. I do. I like them because I can get stuff that I can't get at the other stores or at the store, because I don't know, they don't want us to have certain things. Them lemons, I'm sick of my lemons. I want or Eureka or something else. Broke said I'm muted. Oh no. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Okay. That was the phone. The phone was ringing. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. Hopefully they wait to call back. But I just wanted to get on because people were asking about tissue culture. Broke Farmer also has a video or a short, I don't remember what it was, on tissue culture. That's where I found out. That's how I find out about stuff. We have to pass on information. When you find something out, no matter where you get it from, because I'm not the inventor of this stuff, and a lot of people know things, but we didn't invent this stuff. But we need to pass it along so that we don't spend a bunch of money that we don't have to, and make things easier or more accessible to one another, so that everybody can go ahead and get what they need to do without spending an arm and a leg. Mulberry trees are running about $30-$40 each, if you can find them. I think they were $49.95 if I remember, but they're way bigger than this. So anyway, let me see if there's anything in there. Okay, Broke Farmer says you good now. Erica Carter says now we can. Okay, that was my phone ringing. I apologize so much, and I don't know how to. I guess I can't call everybody. Send out a mass text to everybody in my Rolodex. Don't call me. I'm online. So, or maybe I'll use another phone or another I don't know. I have another phone here that I could use. I like the quality that the phone gives versus I ain't paying for no camera. I don't know. I don't know. I ain't that. I mean, not no big time YouTuber. I ain't no big time. I'm not making any big time YouTube money, so I'm not buying a whole bunch of stuff when I got something that works just as well. Kind of like I don't have StreamYard and all that stuff. People are like, well, how do you go live? YouTube. Why pay for what you can get for free? Y'all ever heard that saying? That's my saying. Or I adopted it. I'm the face of that saying. Anyway, y'all, this is Jamerica with Jamerica Life, and this is tissue culture and the planting of my Pakistan mulberries. I'll see y'all in a couple of months because we're gonna be up planting these jokers. Remember, don't put this outside. Put it under your grow lights. I'll talk to you later. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Happy Mother's Day for those mothers out there, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.